As of July 1, 2020, the Virginia Fair Housing Law now prohibits discrimination based on a household's source of funds. Source of funds is any assistance, benefit, or subsidy administered by a governmental or non-governmental entity which provides funds for a person's housing. This change to the Virginia Fair Housing Law is intended to help expand housing choice options for households, and therefore supports the goal of the Housing Choice Voucher Program. However, to fully support this goal, a voucher agency must approve the request for tenancy approval within 15 days of submission. Otherwise, the rental application for the household receiving a voucher could be denied by the property owner or manager. In order to support a timely approval process, Virginia Housing has released 2 instructional videos about the initial lease-up process. When homes are affordable and accessible to jobs, good schools, and transportation, everyone benefits. Individual lives are improved, and communities as a whole grow stronger. Virginia Housing is excited to share information with you about the Housing Choice Voucher, or HCV program. This video will review some best practices and recommendations for facilitating a seamless initial lease-up period. Before we begin, it's important to point out that public housing authorities, or PHA, may process initial lease-up applicants in various ways. However, they are all required to follow Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, regulations and deadlines, such as those for the initial lease-up period. It's also important to mention the date when the initial lease-up begins can be influenced by several factors, including but not limited to: the unit fails the required inspection. The unit is not available for the required inspection within the 15-day period. The landlord doesn't provide the required documentation. The landlord reschedules the required inspection. To make sure the initial lease-up process can begin without issue, Virginia Housing compiled a list of easy-to-adapt best practices and recommendations for PHA to consider. Maintain a list of landlords with high lease-up rates. This may assist the PHA when they are surveying nearby units to ensure the rent is reasonable, and may assist applicants when they are searching for a unit. However, you must be careful to not steer or guide applicants to any landlord when they are searching for a unit. If new applicant briefings are conducted in a group setting, landlords can be invited to share their property information. Provide the documents for the landlord and property management company to the applicant early on by including them with the Request for Tenancy Approval, or RFTA, packet. This will ensure the applicant can turn them over to the landlord or property management agent while they're negotiating to lease the unit. Use your website and/or other communication channels to share documentation and information about the HCV program, initial lease-up process, and the inspection process to educate landlords and property management companies. This could include, but is not limited to, how the inspection is conducted, what the inspector looks for, commonly failed items, a walkthrough list of the Housing Quality Standards, or HQS, inspection process, etc. Create a dedicated page on your website just for landlords and property management companies and share the link as a resource. This could benefit new as well as returning landlords and property management companies by providing them one centralized location to get information and updates in a quick and easy way. Share a sample lease-up package when working with new landlords or property management companies. This will help them understand the requirements of the HCV program and the initial lease-up process. Use a dedicated staff of housing specialists who would exclusively work with your initial lease-up files. Maintain a dedicated inspection staff who would only work with your initial inspections. Require landlords and property management companies to submit all required documents within 5 business days after the RFTA is received. This will ensure there are no delays with scheduling the inspection. Provide the HQS self-certification forms to the landlord or property management company if the unit fails the inspection for minor issues. For example, painted outlets, dripping faucets, etc. This will help the landlord or property management company know the expectations for resolving these issues so the unit can pass a reinspection. Partner with third-party inspectors, such as county or city housing inspectors, to help with completing inspections. This can help ensure there are no delays with completing the inspection within the required 15-day period. If you'd like to learn more about the initial lease-up period, be sure to watch our other video, Initial Lease-Up Process. You can also view more information at HUD's website, hud.gov. To learn more about the HCV program in Virginia, visit Virginia Housing's website.